do not think that Fiend will get past 9 rounds.
Ooh, you don't think they'll get past 9 rounds? That's quite a bold statement, the way that they've been playing today, but sure. Okay, I see it. I understand. They're going to be starting on the CT side. We'll see if they can post up some respectable scores. We get into the action. 4 players from Fiend rushing straight towards ramp. Magix is here waiting with the Glock. This is where the Glock can shine, but Mar goes in for the crouch peek and takes off his head. Chopper now at range is waiting for the CTs to push through. And they decide better of that incursion. When you've got the player advantage, you don't have to keep pushing.
Why not?
Because you might walk into a pitfall.
Fair. Just playing a bit devil's advocate, Vince, trying to have a little bit of fun. As things have kind of taken a little bit of a slowdown after that initial exchange. Dreamer, though, getting caught there at the secret doorway. So now it's back to even numbers. Doubled up is going to be Fiend on that very secret position. Looking like we are going to see Team Spirit split the upper site through Squeaky and Vince. Bubble is kind of keeping an eye on this from Big Garage. But again, he has 1 player already on lower site and 2 on ramp room. So upper is wide open for the taking. It's all going to come down to the retake now with no kit, no utility.
Yeah, they did the exact same thing on Overpass as well. They just like going for the Kevlar. They want to stand and fight as much as possible. They are getting up close quickly. Bubble gets a right one by Sunday Young and Mark. That was hopeful. Mia's put them both down. Victor comes in with 2 beautiful taps, but that ultimately will not be good enough. And Spirit, although they lost the first player, they take the first round.
Yeah, that was a bit of a head-scratcher from Mar. Didn't seem like he needed to commit to the jump down that quickly. Maybe get a little bit of information first, maybe set up the retake. But at the same time, they did have to move fast out of kit, and so that does make it a little bit more understandable. Either way, it's not gone well. Spirit, just really good collapse on that upper site, really good split push, handling the early aggression well, and finding a way back into the round very quickly. Now they're looking to come up upper as quick as possible, and they are wasting no time laying down the hammer. And this was a bit of a force buy as well from Fiend, so this is looking quite grim.
A force buy, and they also had a couple players like Victor at the back of the site that were in good positions with their SMGs, but still couldn't really do much. Sunday Young tagged down to 19, but he will very likely escape out of this round with his life. And Spirit looking good to 2-0 the opener of Nuke. Fiend on the back foot. Now, as a result, their force buy, they can pull the plug and save these 3 deagles. They got 2 smokes, a flash, and a bunch of Kevlar. So it's not too shabby. And I doubt that Spirit charge in knowing that they could just gift wrapped away a couple of ARs or potentially one of these SMGs. So I think Fiend will be able to hold on to these weapons.
No, understandable. Yeah, so 3 rifles being able to carry over the expendable MAC-10s, also going to be able to come into play in this next round to try to farm some extra cash against a Fiend squad that does have to full save here, or at least only go upgraded pistols without any armor. Try to maybe buy a little bit around the weapons that were stayed over from the previous round, just try to go at it again, basically. That's a D what's going to happen here, except for Bubble. We'll just stay on the USP only.
Victor on top of the hop with a CZ. Definitely a powerful and potent weapon at this kind of a range, but not too sure it'll even get pressured or tested because 2 of the... actually make it 3 of the players from Spirit are making moves over on ramp. Banking flashes and mollies towards the ramp side. There is a smoke also put in there. A slight gap in that smoke, though, could afford some luxury of Fiend to rattle a couple of heads with the deagles. But this is where maybe Victor's position is going to become a bit of a nuisance and a bit of a terror across on Spirit.
Yeah, there is a Molotov that could, a couple Molotovs that could still be put into play, maybe flush that position out, or Victor will just do it himself by dropping down to this Tetris position. That's a really good spot to play, though. I mean, it definitely can be really powerful, but last time Spirit hard cleared it pretty quickly. But they are going to run to the stack here. They are going to start sweeping out, letting the MAC-10s go first, some more expendable weapons, and they are going to be fruitful. Cleaning house will be Spirit. No problems at all. Taking care of business in round number 3. As to be expected, but here comes the full buy from Fiend, Vince, and this is where they'll be able to finally put their best foot forward, see if they can't start putting some rounds on the board with it being Nuke. You want to get that solid CT side. It may not be as lopsided in the defense's favor as it has been in years past, but still a map that you really want to at least come up with 9 or 10 rounds, you'd imagine.
This is a morale-making round on Fiend. Typically, their T sides have been lackluster, and it's been their CT sides that they could really get behind, such as the 10-5 lead on both Mirage and Overpass.
Right.
So if they concede this and they go down to 0-5 kind of scoreline, you're looking at this and thinking, well, Spirit's best side is yet to come. This is getting grim already. This is a really, really important round so early in the map.
That is a fair point to make. Chance for Spirit to get off to a racing start here on the elimination map, but also a chance for Fiend to play some catch-up. Bubble drawing first blood early here inside lobby. That was some ramp room aggression. Once again, this time it nets him a benefit rather than being a curse. Now they're going to back off to more standard roles. Red Star finding a great timing there onto Dexter on the Heaven Peak. Very quick 5-on-3 here for Fiend, Vince.
Yeah, so important as well, because Bubble had started off in 0-3 and he'd missed a couple of shots that you're expecting to land, especially the way he's been playing today. He's been excellent. So good confidence builder. I said it was a morale builder for Fiend, and so far it has definitely yielded a lot of success. Chopper's still up on the main roof. Maybe tested by the garage player if he's not careful. They've already pushed downstairs. The remainder 2 Ts, Magix and Mia, making moves onto connector. Timing, not favoring Magix. Mia probably won't fare too much better either. So I said, this is one that Fiend needed for realistically building economy. That means losing as little players as possible. Well, it's very possible they don't lose a single player here does. This has been an excellent result.
Yeah, the aggression worked out well for them, you know, pushing up through radio, getting that initial pick. Red Star finding a timing as well with the op over towards outside. Got up into that roaring start of the early 5-on-3, and they just never look back from that point forward. But still plenty of money in store for Spirit as we jump into the next round. This time everyone will be AK'd up with full utility. Chance to put a bit of a reset on Fiend with the victory here, but a loss would mean a save and a chance for Fiend to tie things up. So definitely a momentum shifting round potentially ahead of us here, Vince, as we are going to see Spirit just kind of set up as normal for the outside smoke wall, it looks like.
The classic. The meat and potatoes set up on Nuke. Outside
I could go for
wall.
some meat and potatoes right now. Stop, don't mention food.
Same.
Yeah. Triple smoke outside wall in play. No one playing behind it though, so a bit of a feint being thrown out here by Spirit. I can respect it. Now setting up for the upper flash explosion with the side of Molotovs.
We haven't really fully felt for this, but they can't see a single thing, and Bubble's burning away behind the vents. Gets 2 before he falls. Red Star flicks in onto Chopper, and then Mia instantly retorts. The bombers have dropped in out in the open, so someone has to go and pick that one up, and Red Star is just slowly edging his way towards Hut, and Dreamer with a parting gift with the M4. Fiend actually hold on, even though they took all the flashbangs and all the Molotovs on A side.
Yeah, kind of one of those like robotic telegraph type of set pieces where I feel like that outside smoke wall, because there was no follow-up pressure, Fiend never really felt too pressured to have some type of response to it as far as rotations go. They were able to kind of just hold their ground at upper, and like you said, they're able to find their footing through all the utility being waged against them and came out on top in a big, big way, not really showing any signs of weakness on that upper hold. And now we have to see Spirit do more with less. A little bit of a halfway approach by here with a couple Tech 9s and a couple of AKs trying to put that early pressure on Rant. Dreamer fades back and deploys the smoke for cover. Will provide some sanctuary, but Bubble has been taken out already, so Spirit getting a little bit of a foothold in this round.
A moment's reprieve, I'll be hoping, extends into a round. Mar falls back, knowing that he is joined by Dreamer, but they don't have too much in the form of cavalry, and Mia, who's just been wrapping around, slithering his way onto the site. Makes short work of Dreamer. Will Shadow go unchecked? Mars just shot way too early. He didn't want to secure the guaranteed frag. He snatched at the opportunity, and I don't think he would have been checked there either, Dust. The way they were moving to the site seemed to me that that would go unchecked completely.
This is going swimmingly for Spirit, Vince. I mean, just around that, you feel like they shouldn't be winning. Instead, they come out on top. They're going to collect 2 free M4s. They're forcing Victor and Red Star to save, and the money to buy around these saved weapons is not very high, Vince. I mean, Bubble and Mar, less than $1,000. Only Dreamer really has the cash to spare to put up a good purchase. And so right when you thought that Fiend were knocking on the door of a comeback and maybe even taking the lead over, Spirit holds them off with just some aggression with that limited firepower, and it panned out, Vince.
They've been fairly methodical. You know, you kind of mentioned that they're reminiscent in some parts, the flip side from, you know, some of the DreamHack Open events, and obviously the point there being that they were quite slow. I like to see that Spirit have really mixed up the pace already on Nuke. They've played the aggressive rounds. They've got up close and personal. They've crashed in. They've held W, but they're not too scared to also throw in the grenades and bide their time. Execute with 10-15 seconds to spare.
Yeah, you get that vibe from them that they're definitely just going to be the more diverse team in this game as far as like how many pages are in that playbook and what type of adjustments they can make given whatever they encounter. So you are seeing Mir again try to put a little bit of a pressure towards this outside position. In fact, it's the full-on triple smoke wall again, and it looks like this time they are going to follow it up, but Mar is playing that aggressive secret position, spots that player up on top of silos, forces him back, however. They'll use that to put that pressure actually now on Big Garage, and maybe even try to wrap around on Red Star, who may not suspect this, but does realize its potential and decides to back off, but he wide swings out, looking solely at the secret cross, and it cost him his life, Vince. A big opening for Spirit, evening the numbers back up.
Yeah, corroding that defense that little bit more. Dreamer now purchased down in lockers, trying to safeguard this push up in heaven, but he's missed the timing. Already 2 players above him. Now, if he goes unchecked, he can still be a nightmare and a nuisance and can still have some impact. Mar elsewhere, laying down the law onto some Die Young, and Dreamers making moves around the back. That Molotov will give Mia's position away. We now know that heaven is occupied. Mia gets sprayed in the back. Dreamer wants to go in for more, but gets down by Magix. That meets his demise courtesy of Bubble. Although there is a post plant, it's instantly met with Bubble's M4. Fiend will pick up a third.
My goodness. The flank on the flank, Vince. The heaven backstab. Just didn't see that one coming. Cost Spirit the round, really. It sets up everything else afterwards as well. The kill, and then all of a sudden you have to shift your focus to heaven. It unlocks that extra choke point for Fiend to come funneling through to answer back with a round of their own. Momentum now becomes the question. Who can shoot together some rounds in a row? Who can take control of this half? It's been a bit of a back and forth these last few rounds. Still a very tight race. Double op in play for Spirit on T side. Did not anticipate that coming into play, Vince.
Yeah, that's definitely an orthodox. CT side, sure, but T side, this is odd. They made it work though. Chopper with a secondary AWP. Puts it downrange onto Dreamer. Ramp is open. Bubble tries to close the gap, but he only has a flash and a smoke by his side. He's very susceptible to getting overrun in this position. And indeed he will. And that's huge for Team Spirit.
Indeed it is. Already a quick 5-on-3 here. They're also getting some good map control. They have ramp already. They still have outside presence. Red Star trying to pick his angles here from Big Garage. Does get into a nice spot to kind of hold the mini cross. But if he takes the wrong timing and swings out the wrong way, could still wind up getting stamped out here. Meanwhile, Victor trying to make sure they're not getting flanked from heaven, which they do have to be, you know, troubled by because of them losing that ramp room control. It's always a possibility that they could be getting wrapped around. And Spirit can just take their time, Vince. They don't have to commit to anything. Looks like they will be gathering up towards ramp, though. Whether they commit lower or heaven wrap, different story. It's still in the cards. Either option.
Either option is available to them, but they are running out of time in order to make that decision. 30 seconds. They may be forced into an uncomfortable spot as a result of this. They will be hitting B. Mars smoked off. Victor on the double doors. They've made a good read. 2 of their 3 players over here, but a secondary smoke has now been put in place. May pop flash into a peak. And a flash that bang does more harm than good, and they've lost red start. More smoke's going down. Will be planting within the smoke. Chopper can't really be found for the time being. They put some speculative shots through the smoke, and they give their position away in the process. And although Mara is laying down some pretty spicy shots with the M4, there's 3 more players to deal with. And let's be honest, the chance is very slim indeed. Magix puts the final nail in the coffin, and Spirit, well, they'll lead again by 2.
Indeed, they will, and money will be back in the bin when it comes to the perspective of Fiend on this CT side. Can't really come back into this one with too much resistance, and it's going to be just another opportunity for Spirit to continue to build up this lead on their T side. Again, these more surgical, more calculated strikes that Spirit are able to dish out on the attack, which is a stark contrast of what Fiend has shown, have been very effective. Again, this coordination. I mean, Mar certainly put up a nice little effort here. A little bit of sloppiness from Spirit there, perhaps, but they were so far ahead that it was going to take something crazy for them to slip behind too much.
Fiend looking like they will go for the force, including 3 pistols. And you can kind of just rewind a little bit of time and go back to when we were talking about the importance of getting control of the economy and putting Spirit in an uncomfortable position. Well, these are the kind of rounds now that if Fiend concede this, for my money, you're looking at least 10 rounds on the T side for Spirit. And that may just be too far gone.
Yeah, it's definitely in the cards for Spirit to have a big half. Just the way that they're playing right now, you expect them to at least hit that kind of 8 or 9 round marker. You figure that this one should be a 6th. Money will still be in a really grim spot after this as well, so it really is building up to that level you were talking about, of 10 rounds being in the cards. As this round is gone by the wayside fast, as we kind of expected. Not really a whole lot to work with. I mean, the fact that they're not getting anything done and they're not able to save all these weapons, this is just looking like dire straits for Fiend.
I think it's also the ease in which Spirit are just pushing outside. Like Mia in that round just runs all the way outside, gets 2 kills around Heaven and lockers, makes it look super easy, and there was nothing. There was no kind of resistance that was shown, no confrontation shown from Fiend. They just gave it up.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, Vince. There's a little bit of analyst in you yet, buddy. You're not just that play-by-play robot. You got some thinking action going on up there. Some critical skills. Who would have thought?
First time out, and it's Spirit that call it quite interesting. You'd think that it'd probably be Fiend. Trying to figure out as to the current situation, I suppose, in terms of economy.
Fair point. Could be just trying to make sure that they have a good read on what they might be up against this round. Make sure they make the correct decisions not to slip into any traps or take any unnecessary gambles or just do anything at all that would give Fiend the chance, basically. You want to come out with this one with no trouble at all. And it really shouldn't be. I mean, with it just being USPs, the 1 PT50 on Red Star, this should be maybe the easiest round Spirit have played all day.
These are the kind of rounds as well where I would almost like to see Fiend go just for something ridiculous. You know, like you got USPs, you got no real economic investment into this.
Right.
Unless they just want to treat this as like a full-on timeout, maybe just chill out as well. You know, just really not think about too much things and just turn your brain off for a few moments here.
No, that's fair. I think all of those are valid ways to approach a round like this. As the bomb will indeed go down rather quickly here from Spirit, as one would expect after that entry from Sum Da Young popped off so early on in the round. What we're seeing Fiend do is try to approach lobby from a bunch of different angles at once and maybe see if they could pop off an exit frag or two. Does seem to be what they have in mind. But Chopper getting on the roof is basically kind of annihilating those intentions.
Yeah, and I mean the intentions were for the most part fairly weak, regardless. Like there's not too much. Even if they swipe in multiple angles and they even get a drop on a player, it's USP against full Kevlar and AK. So yeah, they came in. They at least got a kill. It wasn't by their hands. It was by the bomb that actually finished off. It's 7-3 still, and maybe there's a buy around the corner now for Bulgarians to try and pick up for themselves.
This feels like the round that Fiend must put on their side if they really want to pose a threat to Spirit here on this map. Again, a loss here means you're back to low economy, and that is where all of a sudden a double-digit situation for Spirit is just going to be so likely. They're trying to get a little bit aggressive towards outside here, inside the smoke by Redfin. Now, Chopper seems aware that this is possible. You see him throwing that spam through. He has tagged Mar up a little bit. Another round where there's no kits in play for Fiend for a retake either, Vince, if things come to that. Surprised not to see at least one person take a FAMAS to make sure they had at least one hit to play this round.
Yeah, that's been a reoccurring theme on each of the 3 maps. They definitely do fancy themselves when it comes to trading. I feel like they're a team that is kind of prepared and kitted out for just standing and trading 1 for 1, 2 for 2. The problem here is that when Spirit have been looking like themselves, they just win the trades. They have the snappier aim. They have the better players. So even in that respect, it seems like Fiend is second best.
No, I think that that's definitely been an accurate report on how things have played out so far in this best of 3. As we do see Spirit looking to test the waters here in these back halls. Mar trying to play that little bit of a headshot angle on the stairwell here, see if he can collect something. Aggression in lobby is successful, catching some Die Young there, but Magix is able to get that counter. Now Dreamer, he has a great position. Goes unchecked here. Only good for 1 though, Vince. I am shocked at that result.
Yeah, that had to be a minimum of 2. Honestly, the positions of Fiend, I feel like if the roles were reversed and Spirit are in those spots, they win the round.
Yeah, probably.
Like, actually, I think that's indicative of the second map. I said going into this that psychologically they've got to be burned by what just happened. And those are the kind of moments where I feel like it shows itself at the forefront.
Yeah, you definitely expected that crossfire that Bubble and company had there on that lower railing to be fruitful, and to turn up only 1 kill between them all was definitely not what one would have expected. And with that being such an important round, considering their economy and considering what's on the line and the momentum of Spirit, you have to feel like the win is well and truly out of their sails at this point. I mean, they are that type of team, though, that will just keep their head down and keep grinding and keep trying to, you know, take fights and, you know, not let it discourage them from playing their style of Counter-Strike. But it just seems like Spirit, as each round passes, are getting more and more comfortable, more and more confident, and more effective in their game plan. And now there is no, like, weak link coming into this half. Everyone seems to be performing where they need to.
It took Spirit a while to get here, to warm up all the troops, but they finally got the gears shifted. And Victor, speaking of warming up, wants to get a bit aggressive. Wants to heat this map up, and in terms of Fiend, they cannot be leading going through to the second half. Both previous maps, they were leading 10-5. They're not going to be at a deficit, whatever happens from this point forward.
And it's always the CT side they did it from as well, Vince.
Exactly.
So definitely a lot of things kind of piled against them at this point here. But they do have that 1 AK on Victor, who, again, is definitely looking for something aggressive. Didn't quite find it yet, as no one was really showing presence. And Red Star has been absolutely close-lined. He's been given the free haircut.
That must have been a crazy shot from Chopper, because Red Star was airborne as well. And still got just tagged hard. Mia follows up onto Dreamer and Mar behind the smoke and maybe pull off some heroics, but again, you just look at the rest of Fiend and they have nothing to really play with. Victor, though, makes use of his AK, and now smoke's being deployed while 3 of the 4 players from the T's are downstairs again. And Fiend will be taking a gamble. Need a pick on the cross. Don't get one. Finally do, but it's at the cost of Victor and Mars' lives. And Bubble, like an elephant down the vents, could be heard from a mile off. and Dexter will punish him.
So the story that this map is telling us is continuing to be written the way that the audience was likely expecting it to be scripted. Back to the buy-up, though, should be Fiend. Really their last chance to put a big effort out there on the server and try to get this defense rolling. You feel like without this, it's just a bridge too far to come back from, especially considering how their attacks have struggled throughout the day. And considering, again, how much more difficult Nuke is to make work with that more brawly playstyle without the right utility coordination. So, do or die, it feels like at this point for Fiend.
Dexter just strikes me as just like a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. So every time the camera pans to him, he's just got a smile on his face, regardless of whether they win or lose. Good to see. Keep the morale high. Mark dispatched with haste, and Dream has been Molotov'd off. He can't really avenge his teammate. He got one kill, but he was hoping to connect the dots and maybe spray Spirit out of this. Spirit already delving down stairs, a different take, a different avenue down there, but it may very well be the same result. And Dexter, speak of the man, 2 kills in quick succession before Red Star will put an end to his kill streak. Victor should get the drop on Mia, shuts him down from behind, 2-on-2, but Young's down to 30.
At least this retake is not one-dimensional. It's coming from multiple angles at once, and Red Star's found his man, but so has Chopper. Chopper seems to have a read on where Victor is coming from, though, and backs off and gets the fadeaway jumper right onto Victor's face. And that's 10th round for Spirit. And I like the pacing change, Vance. I mean, we've seen them play relatively slow on average throughout the ball for this game. You see them just to make that snap call to run it down their opponent's throat in ramp room and waste no time getting a bomb plant and lower. Match is really upset for someone whose team just won the round.
Shows how into it he is, though, how important this game is. Elimination was looming for Spirit. Keep in mind that Fiend had match points, not just map, but match points over on Overpass.
Right.
Maybe just releasing the pressure valve is Magic's. He's playing well here. 13 kills to his name, 12 on Chopper and Mia. Chopper had a very rough first map. The barrel of the gun will betray Mia, and he gets finished off by Red Star. Magic's aggression, spotting players behind, where 1 pushes, 2 will follow. And they do significant damage and force back Fiend. Red Star pushes out of heaven, was not anticipating Young to be on the side, which is somewhat surprising considering they know that Magic's was in hut earlier. Maybe a lapse in communication there? I'm not too sure what happened.
Certainly possible. Also just could be that they just are starting to run out of that mental juice. You know, these people have played a lot of Counter-Strike today. You know, this whole best of 3, one of the maps going into overtime. Obviously played a best of 1 earlier today. Then they had to kind of wait around for their opponent. Definitely takes that stamina when you're a team on day 1. You have to just kind of keep playing for your tournament life every step of the way. Spirit have had the kind of opposite, where they started off cold and they've just warmed up as the series has gone on. Their composure has grown. Their form has increased. And they seem all but destined now to just kind of waltz into tomorrow as the victor. It just seems so hard right now to see how Fiend finds a way back in. They keep having these rounds where they're on, you know, multiple FAMASs, limited utility, and this is a map where utility is what you need on CT side to stop those fast pushes, and they don't have it.
Oh, and if you don't have the utility on the CT side, best of luck to you on the T side of things. She'll be coming up next. Already, 2-for-1 trade. Aggression, Bubble, getting his 7th kill. The one map that he hasn't really performed on so far. Not that anyone from Fiend has. And Young moving it a step closer to being a 12-3 half for Spirit. Bubble and Red Star stand against them. FAMAS and M4s in hand with no grenades. And they have been outmaneuvered. They're sticking together at least so they can try and pincer in as a united, cohesive force, but Spirit not for the first time. Getting success down on the B site. Post plant will be coming up as Bubble is hearing from his own perspective. Planted safe, but it gets wide swung from Sumda Young instantly afterwards. And now it's down to one of the star players of Fiend in Red Star. Statistically, their best player in the last 3 months. But as good as he is, the fact that not even the control room window has been smashed just yet didn't yield well, and Spirit will take a 12-3 halftime lead.
A whisper in the silence is ringing inside the void in my head. I'm searching through the darkness, but feeling like there is nobody there. I wake up just to find I'm in chains, and you're there holding the key. No, 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 no. Fell for another one of your games. No, this can't be happening. No, 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 no. I'm shaking 'cause I'm frozen. I need some holy water to wash away this poison. You got me trapped inside a nightmare. I knew it when I fell into your arms. Nothing is right here, and I'm shaking 'cause I know it won't be long till I'm deeper and deeper falling in fear. I'm screaming out, but no one can hear. I'm trapped in my nightmare, and if I don't wake up, this is the end.
I started speaking slick with my tone. I talk too sweet to repair. Should have known that you would be gone when you gave in to my spell. Trying to find your feet on the floor, but you're suspended in air. Scratching for a way out my clutch, but you ain't going nowhere. You're shaking 'cause you're frozen. You need some holy water to wash away this poison. 'Cause there's no breaking out. Trapped in my nightmare. I knew it when you fell into my arms. 'Cause nothing is right here. Now you're shaking 'cause you know it won't be long till you're deeper and deeper falling into fear. Keep screaming out, but no one can hear. You're trapped in a night.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, one and all. Spirit had a phenomenal first half, their best half of the day by far. And even with Fiend typically leading, it wasn't enough to put Spirit down when they were at their most vulnerable and weak. Fiend, very aggressive to the side, not a huge surprise to see them rush straight in, but they're rushing into a dual Beretta, and that's from Sumda Young. Victor gets 2, doubling up instantly. They're not taking their time about this. The bomb is getting planted straight away. And Chopper, who had an excellent first half, joined by Dexter up in heaven, and Mia, who is just flanking around the periphery of main. There is a smoke down in his eyes, so he has to wait for that to clear out. And this is where Dexter or Mia need to have a big amount of impact in these next few moments. Dexter witnessing Chopper getting goosed down to 5 HP. He himself has also come under fire, under duress, down to 24. Mia at least gets 1, but they decide to just pull the plug and save what they have. Making sense to me. They got 2 Kevlar, does bolster their buy into the next round, and when you have a massive lead like this, why not?
Exactly. I think you hit it spot on there. Just a rapid attack from Fiend where they're able to get the opening exchange to go their way. One of those situations where you can run that quick upper play because you know there's going to be no utility to stop you. It's all going to come down to aim, what angle you choose to peek first, and They got it done.
Into round 17, we'll see Spirit with Mag 7. And Young, he's played a lot of different weapons today. 290 obviously earlier on, Mia with a deagle, getting one. Don't peek him one by one. Whatever you do at this kind of range with a deagle, he wasn't too far off punishing 2 or 3 more players there. That could have gone horribly wrong for the Bulgarians, and that could have been GG. As it stands though, downstairs now been taking control over.
Indeed, they are putting that pressure into the back halls. Chopper still has control of that window room area, though. He does still have that support towards ramp room, which is going to be Dexter with that scout, who's still looking for someone to give him a little bit of a look from radio, but no one is going to oblige just yet here. In the meantime, the rest of Fiend looking to just continue to work this outside control, maybe even start pressuring Heaven. Dexter will now shuffle over with Chopper to try to cover this ground. All going to come down to timing of the peak, and Chopper caught through the glass by the Galil. Young, though, interesting angle with that Mag 7, evens it right back up. And so this is still a hotly contested round. No one really has control, and Dexter knows that he's threatened from Heaven and will get away. This is a very smart maneuver from him. Now they spot Victor jumping down.
That's some really good game sense from Spirit to just make sure they don't get pincered fully. And Magix now gets the drop onto Victor. And even though those players at the back of control with Simon, no one watches out for him. Sprays labored, but Dexter gets it done finally before a Molotov's there to greet him. Hate sheet behind that can actually seal the deal.
Oh!
That's right on him. The touchdown from Bubble. But again, Fiend just about limp into the round and make it theirs.
Yeah, if that nade happens to miss the mark, you actually kind of fancy Spirit's chances maybe to steal that one away. They definitely did a lot of work there. Now they're setting up for potentially a nade stack outside from what I could tell. So that could be a little bit of shenanigans coming out into the next round, despite the fact that they have nothing else really to work with other than maybe a pistol here and there. Fiend, like you said, to limp across the finish line, but it comes at a heavy toll. I have to do a lot of rebuying, which is going to limit their economy going forward long term. Indeed, there is that outside nade stack, and well, you hate to see it. Mar, though, loves to see it.
Well, as accountant, he's licking his lips. 3 kills with the Mac 10. Yeah, may very well punish him. Lots of damage inflicted with the USP, but Mar will scurry away with 18 HP to his name. Knowing that Dreamer was on the flank. So 4 of the 5 kills did come at the hands of SMGs, and Spirit have a decision, and they've decided to go for the buy.
Yeah, looking for it here now. They will have the XM from Young to play that hut squeaky door type of position. You'd have to imagine one of the few maps where that gun is quite viable. So no shocker there in that regard.
Already finding the Fiend way of attacking on the T side very entertaining to watch. May not be the most efficient, but every round is aggression. Every round is in your face. Sometimes it's going to backfire, such as that. As Chopper punishes Red Star, pivoting out of the smoke ahead of the rest of his teammates. A 2-for-1 trade, favoring Spirit, but Fiend have brute forced their way downstairs already on B side.
Right, yeah, the bomb making its way in with plenty of time to spare. They don't have to force the plant right away, and now Mar on the lurk outside catches Mir and Young, and he's having a brilliant amount of impact in this round. He's individually turned the tides of the entire round, but finally caught by Dexter. Magic's putting some nice shots downrange from control side of the decon. Bomb will get planted. Oh my, that was so close.
Victor has no right to win that fight. Now, the fact that that's Bubble and not Victor, Dexter knows that Victor is somewhere close in the vicinity. If he's not behind the site, he's probably Shadow, and he has a molly for this. Does he toss the molly in? No. He anticipates this being in control room, but survives on 5 HP. Victor was so low from that earlier fight with Magix. Just caught up with it.
Man, that was a tense round. It started strong for Spirit, but Mar was making some big progress towards turning that around. ensured the bomb plant, was cutting off some rotations, putting that into a tight numbered situation, but Spirit clutch out the 1v2, but Magic certainly had a huge impact with the damage that he dealt on his way out the door. Problem is, it was so costly. They buy back and they had the inferior firepower despite the victory. Okay.
Young
That's,
and Dexter both trading kills.
You kind of need another smoke out there.
Yeah, it kind of goes back onto what we were, bringing up. We're trying to bring this narrative into play about how would the utility be from Fiend. At times it was a bit of a head scratch or overpass. Nuke is way more punishing. Chopper with the most audacious wide swing with the FAMAS weapons,
Why
and
not?
he gets the kill and just pieces out of there, no problems.
Just moonwalks out of there, man. Why the hell not? It's one of those games where it's when you feel like you can do no wrong.
Every trade, every decision, every peak goes the way of Spirit. How the tables are turned for Mirage. And Victor, well, first-class delivery service for an AK straight to Chopper's doorstep.
Last chance saloon coming up for Fiend. Spirit now approaching map and series point, and money has run extremely low here for the Bulgarians.
Deep in thought now, our Fiend, knowing that their tournament life is hanging in the balance. Bubble looking concentrated and dialed in. Some Young looks like he wants to be anywhere apart from on the server right now. It's like, come on, guys, can we just finish this off, please?
Yeah, it's kind of roughly around like 9 or 10 p.m. for most of these players. I guess 10 because most of these guys are CIS region, so it's starting to get to that point in the night where you want to start taking your nightcap and hitting the sack.
Yeah, and their first game was what, like 10 hours ago? And it was an overtime?
Yeah.
So understandable.
Yeah, something like that.
Just human after all. And Mart sprints down towards Secret. Chopper, different angle, same idea. Hold ramp with everything that he's worth. And if he is successful against 4 players, even if he just gets 1 or 2 kills, that may be good enough for his teammates. Will there be flashes preceding this push? There won't be. They don't get punished. Molly straight down. Cords off one of the areas, can focus his attention elsewhere. They don't check for that re-peek, and the bomb's been spilled out. Chopper will be able to fall out to his teammates now. Sundial gets the upper hand on Tamar, and everything is just going pear-shaped. Everything going wrong. To make matters worse for them, there's an incendiary down there, so they're stuck. And because they're stuck with 5 players left, for all they know, they're being flanked from lobby. They have no idea where they're about to get hit from, and now they find out. Red Star with the Galil spinning around for 2, but Spirit now have 9 match points of their own.
Yeah, that was just a brilliant play. Putting that incendiary down to allow the safe re-peek, making that re-peek way less risky. And then fading back after that. Somebody running off the back calls. Dexter coming in as well. Just, again, one of those games where Spirit just looked so on point. Just completely outclassing Fiend left, right, and center. And now we come into their final effort with some Deagles and Mac 10 and Galil. And oh boy. The vent dive, he's been absolutely wrecked.
First 2 maps were back and forth. Pretty close affairs. This has been anything but. And Spirit looking to just turn the screws. Put this to bed by nowhere near as solidly as they were hoping for. But as long as they get it done, that's all that counts. I feel like they haven't played even close to their A game today. And yet they still should be maneuvering their way into safety. Or at least for 1 more round. Chopper has his head removed. Bit of awkwardness from his perspective. The bomb's now been dropped down. Mia has his eagle eye trained towards the ramp side. Just tapping, playing with his food. Beautiful headshot onto Red Star. And this should be all she wrote. Unless Mark can pull off the miracle. But miracles do not happen. 16-6. And this best of 3 is done.